Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really powerful argument that basically asks us to rethink everything we thought we knew about authority. It all starts with a pretty simple question about one of the most powerful people on the planet, and it ends by putting the ultimate responsibility for finding truth right back in our own laps.
So it all kicks off with this really potent question. We're often taught that certain figures or institutions are infallible, that they can't be wrong. But the speaker here uses the Pope as this perfect example to challenge that whole idea, asking, look, in this day and age, how can any single person's word be seen as the absolute final truth?
To get to the bottom of that, the speaker first takes apart this whole idea of authority itself. And he suggests that the way we look at these dogmatic, absolute statements, well, it isn't really about the leader who's making them, it's actually about us.
Okay, so here's where he kind of flips the script, and it's fascinating. He's proposing that a dogmatic statement isn't inherently right or wrong. No, its validity, its rightness, is totally relative to the person hearing it. For someone who's maybe still figuring things out, a clear, firm directive might feel really helpful, even necessary. But for someone who's a bit more developed, that very same statement could feel way too simple, or maybe even just plain wrong.
And this all builds up to the speaker's main point about where we are right now, historically speaking. He says it pretty bluntly. Humanity, as a whole, has graduated. The time for just accepting things on faith alone without looking into it for ourselves. Yeah, according to him, those days are over.
All right, so if blindly following is out, then what's in? What are we supposed to do now? Well, this brings us to the next part of his argument, which he sees as this fundamental shift in how we all think. And this right here, this lays out that core shift he's talking about perfectly. In the past, he suggests, humanity was in a more, well, dependent state. We needed strong leaders for guidance. But now, he argues we've matured. Our need has shifted from just wanting guidance to wanting to understand. And to get that understanding, we have to do the research for ourselves.
So this is where he completely reframes the whole idea of questioning. It's not about being a rebel just for the sake of it. No, he says that the question is to have the mindset of a researcher. You're actively trying to figure out the world, not just passively accepting someone else's version of it.
And he applies this idea across the board. It's not just about questioning some distant figure like the Pope. He actually insists that his own audience should be taking that same critical look at his words. In his view, this kind of questioning becomes the highest form of responsibility. It's a duty we have to ourselves, to make sure that what we believe is truly our own.
So you can probably see where all this is heading, right? It's all building towards a pretty dramatic conclusion. If the old ways of thinking about authority are out, and our main job is to question everything, then that forces us to ask a really fundamental question.
And boom, this is the question that the entire argument hinges on. I mean, if we can't just rely on outside figures to tell us what's real anymore, then where does truth even come from? What do we hold on to? And the speaker's answer is, well, it's pretty radical, and it's incredibly personal. He completely redefines the very concept of truth, or jinli as it's said in Korean. For him, truth isn't some ancient, abstract law that's handed down from above. Not at all. It's something much more immediate, much more practical. For any principle to be considered true, it has to work for you, right here, right now. It has to actively fit into your life and improve it today. And this quote just nails his entire philosophy. I mean, really think about that for a second. Any idea, doesn't matter how respected it is or how many centuries it's been around, is basically meaningless if it doesn't connect with your life right now. So from this perspective, truth isn't something you just go out and find. It's something you test against the fabric of your own life.
So, if we accept this new definition of truth, it all leads to this one final, really powerful conclusion about our role in the world. It basically puts the entire burden of judgment right on our own shoulders. And just like that, we're right back where we started, with that question about the Pope. The speaker's answer is now crystal clear. No message from any authority can be unconditionally correct for everyone. And why? Because truth itself is conditional. It's conditional on being relevant and beneficial to each person's life in the present moment.
And that right there is the final call to action. The ultimate authority in this worldview is you. You are the final judge of what is true for you. This isn't about rejecting all wisdom, not at all. It's about taking on the huge responsibility of filtering everything through your own experience and your own understanding. And so we're left with this lingering, kind of mind-bending thought. If truth is this fluid, personal thing that's defined only by how well it fits our lives today, then what happens when our lives change? What happens tomorrow? Does truth itself change right along with it? It's a challenging idea, and it forces us to really think about the foundation of what we believe and why. Thanks for joining me to break it all down.